Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a crucial day of G1 Champions League action, Season 5. I am LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here by Winter. We are about to cast Orange Esports versus LGD International. Group A is wide open. Every single team is 1-1, but it won't stay that way for long. By the time today is done, it's going to be one team, 2-1, one team, 1-2. And if you win this series, well, you're guaranteed first or second place at the very worst. So looking to be quite an important match. With all that being said, Winter, we're going to see a hero that's really become popular as of late, especially for Zenith, picked up quite early by Orange, the Tinker.
Yeah, Tinker has been the flavor of the past couple of weeks, these 2 weeks. You see Chain Stack, they play the Tinker a lot as well, especially, and all the other Southeast Asian teams. Hey, LD, if the team that loses this game, is it still mathematically possible to go through the next round?
What will happen is it will come down to tiebreakers. So the way that the bracket format works, again, all of the teams are 1-1, is that the first and second, there's going to be two ties, right? There will be two 2-1 teams, two 1-2 teams. The way the tie is broken, the first way they try to break it is by head-to-head matchup. I don't think that will come. It could come into play, I believe, but I'm not sure if it will, depending on who wins the next few matches. If head-to-head matchup isn't. Well, actually, both of those teams should have played each other, so it should just be broken by head-to-head matchup, I believe. And if they needed another tiebreaker, like if there were 3 teams tied, it would come down to games won and games lost. And if that wasn't enough to break it, they would go to time rating. But ultimately, I think it just comes down to head-to-head matchup. So we'll have to see. But obviously, these two teams won't be tied after today. So it would be Orange and their head-to-head match with either LGD China or Rattlesnake, just as if, say, Orange won, or vice versa if LGD.int wins.
Yeah, when you look at the draft right now, LGD has 3 of their quite favorite heroes. They like to run Lashrock, Darkseer, and Lifestealer a lot. Lifestealer will be mostly on their aggressive tri lane, or sometimes they could do the Darkseer on the aggressive tri and leave the Lifestealer solo.
Yeah, so they have a lot of options here, and I actually like the way Orange has drafted quite a bit, though. When you look at what LGD International has been, how they've been winning Winter, is they've experimented with other styles, but it just seems like whenever the game goes later for LGD, that's where they tend to run into trouble. I actually would love to see the detailed statistics on it, but I want to say I haven't seen them win a game past the 45-50 minute mark. And granted, most games don't go that long, but some do, especially in Asia. And I don't know if LGD International has won one that late. So Orange is picking a lineup that obviously wants to take the game late. Now, if they can do it against the Darkseer, who can build your early pipe, and possibly someone else to build the early mech, I don't know, but Orange seem to have that late game in mind with the way they're drafting here.
Yeah, and Weaver is a very, very extremely good pickup against Lifestealer. Lifestealer just can't kill the Weaver in the fights, and Weaver is very, very annoying for the Lifestealer in the lane as well.
Yeah, very annoying to lane against, and they'll really need the Lashrak +1 if they actually want to kill the Weaver in the lane. And if you're doing that, you're not dealing with the Tinker necessarily. You will have your Darkseer hopefully getting good farm. Obviously, there won't be a lone Druid this game. Thank God that hero gets picked. He makes it through the draft way too often, I feel. But he won't be here this game. So if you're Orange Esports, you have 2 of your farmers. You're looking at maybe one more. And here's my big question is, what is Mushi going to play this game? I imagine we're looking at a KYXY Weaver. We've actually seen Orange run an offensive tri-lane with Mushi in their last G1 League match, where Mushi was on a Chaos Knight and they ran an aggressive tri-lane. I think it was a KYXY safe lane Wiener, and then did I say Wiener? I meant Weaver. Oh boy. And then I imagine we'll see the Tinker going mid for Ohio. So that's something else to be excited about. Ohio Tinker, when he's playing on his A game, he is very impressive with this hero.
Don't worry, Aldi, that's not the first time you said something wrong. Everyone makes mistakes.
I just make more of them than most, but some people love me for it. Some people hate me. Well, we'll see the Morphling ban. So they're a little bit concerned about that particular hero of Mushi's, because I'm Morphling Weaver Tinker, and LGD lacks stuns. I think that's a necessary ban here. How are you gonna end the game when these 3 heroes are quite mobile, quite hard to kill, and are pushing the lanes out incredibly quickly?
Yeah, I think if they don't have the... Okay, there goes the Rubik. It's gonna be hard for them to have the support necessary to deal with the Weaver. There's only BS, I think, left. What else is in the pool that can provide the initiating stun for Lashrock? Maybe a Lion, yeah. There's still a Lion.
And even VS isn't that reliable, because that Magic Missile does have a bit of a travel time, a cast animation to it, during which time you can Sakuchi, and if there's not already a sentry down, and you try to place it at the last second, it's too late. Whereas with Disruption, with Telekinesis Lift, it's instant. As soon as you get it off, away it goes, and there's no escaping or dodging that of any kind. So even then, VS isn't really the ideal hero, I feel.
Lion would be the more suitable one to deal with the Weaver.
That's a good point. Or even Shadow Shaman, but we just don't see him anymore. And I feel like Lion's better because you get the Finger of Death, so you get the burst damage, just kill a hero like Weaver or Tinker almost instantly.
Yeah, and when you farm him up a dagger, it's also very, very useful to pick off the Tinker.
So we're gonna see LGD.int now. Orange, I want to. At least for me, I think the Storm ban is fantastic. G is famous for his Storm. I mean, I remember when I first started really getting into casting a lot, G's Storm was something I would just gush about every single time he played for Dare, way back before the International too. He has arguably been, I mean, the best Storm player, at least in the Western scene. And obviously Storm plus Lifestealer, that is a way to kill off these split pushers. So both teams drafting and banning quite intelligently, and I guess the big question is, what is going to be left for Mushi right now? Do they look to go for the CK tri-lane this game? What do you think Orange is going to do?
They're going to try their best to put the Weaver on the 1 versus 1 lane. And even if they end up, because LGD they like to do aggressive tri-lane, if Weaver ends up against whatever tri-lane LGD has on the safe lane, it's still going to be difficult for them to kill the Weaver, and they're going to be applying a lot of pressure for the mid lane of LGD and the safe lane of LGD. So CK could be a pickup for them.
So CK is an option. Gyrocopter is available.
Juggernaut as well. Juggernaut is good, yeah.
Oh, Juggernaut could be quite good, and he really helps your team. I mean, just to split push, because he could Blade Fury and then TP out. And how is LGD going to stop that? They actually pick up a Silencer. Is this just so they have a way to kill the Weaver?
I don't really.
I mean, what do you make of this? Because they don't have many stuns right now.
Yeah, it could be a mid lane silencer. I've seen them play it before. G plays it on the mid lane. I don't think it's a very good support character for them.
Even being played as a farmer, it's pretty risky though, right? Because the ult's got a really long cooldown. The silence is not a stun at the end of the day, so sure, you can pop last word on a Weaver, but he may just Sakuchi and get out of range before you can actually kill him. I feel like this pick, I mean, it's almost a necessary one, but a lot of it's just because Orange has banned out all the other heroes that LGD would probably prefer to have.
I thought Wisp would be a kind of good pickup for them, because Wisp will be able to catch the Tinker and the Weavers keep pushing. There's a good chance of catching the Tinker before he has his dagger.
If they wanted to pick it, perhaps they still could, because they have their 2 solos, the Silencer, the Darkseer. You could run a Lifestealer Wisp Leshrac tri-lane. Not the strongest tri-lane, but it's not horrible. And Orange are going to go for what looks to be a Mushi Shadow Fiend. Oh man, this one. I mean, this has some big signature heroes coming out for Orange right now.
It's gonna be I think it's gonna be mostly a safe lane, because they realize LGD has. They're guessing that the Silencer is a support. That's why they pick up the Shadow Fiend, because they realize LGD they can't run a very, very deadly aggressive tri-lane. But I think if they run the Silencer in the mid lane,
10 seconds remaining.
Maybe, but it's difficult because they have to sacrifice Darkseer as sort of a position. Okay.
Orange's turn to pick.
Silencer is a support, yeah. Silencer is a support, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a support Silencer, unless they want to run Darkseer as one. But I mean, Darkseer is a crucial hero for them this game, because they need him to farm the mech, the pipe. Well, maybe not the mech. Maybe Silencer can build that, but he'll definitely have to farm the pipe for them to break the base. And they.
What if they do a lamb LD? Darkseer and Bounty Hunter 1 lane, Leshrac and Lifestealer 1 lane, Silencer 1 lane.
Darkseer Bounty Hunter 1 lane would actually be pretty annoying. I mean, I don't know if it's really because if they run it as an aggressive duo, Darkseer could kind of farm the jungle and just pop out to harass the lane. Bounty Hunter could be, actually in the lane, and then maybe they look to dive that Shadow Fiend. But Orange, I think in that case, would be quite happy to send Weaver off lane versus Leshrac Lifestealer, and he's never dying just to those two. I mean, should never die.
They can do. There's one more thing they can do. I think would be very, very good. They could pit the Silencer against the Weaver in the safe lane, 1 versus 1. Weaver will have quite a difficult time, because you can't use your Shukuchi, then the Silencer will just curse you. You are forced to just last hit in the lane, and Silencer has much higher damage than you, and they can run the lifestealer lash out middle to punish the Tinker. So it could be a good way, one of the good ways to lane their heroes.
And Tinker is squishy enough that at level 2, Leshrac Lifestealer should be able to kill him. Or if you get a rune on the Leshrac, maybe a double damage or a haste rune early on, maybe you have a shot at it. But that could work. And Orange, they're going to go back for a classic SEA support, the Sand King. And Orange's mid game, if they get there, it's very hard to fight against Orange. They've got a spammable AoE stun. They've got a crap load of damage. You have to fight into March of the Machines. There's a disruption if you try to go on anyone. LGD International, I feel the pressure is really on them with this draft to do well in the laning stage in the first 5 to 10 minutes, or it's going to be very difficult.
I think, look at the heroes. Look at who's playing the heroes. I think it might happen. It's 1-4-3-7 on the Darkseer. So is it going to be a Darkseer?
Maybe it's generally Pycat is. I mean, I haven't seen him in the tri lane at all. It's always Brax or G. So, are they running Pycat as a solo this game? Because I mean, it could be a Darkseer tri lane.
I think it's a Lifestealer, Lashrock middle, and Darkseer Bounty Hunter off lane, and G will be on the safe lane.
A little rattlesnakes in your life.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be that way. Look at the items.
Let's quickly take a look at the items while we introduce the players. On the side of LGD International, we have G, God Kill Them All, playing the Darkseer. No Storm for him. I'm a little disappointed about that ban, but 1437 on the silencer, so they have performed a little switcheroo. A little switcheroo into some mind games in play here. Misery on the Leshrac, Pycat on the Lifestealer, and, well, first actually, Brax, the young one on LGD, and he's playing the Bounty Hunter, and they are looking to get aggressive into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and for my Malaysian friends, we have Nat on the Shadow Demon, Mushi on the Shadow Fiend, Xting on the Sand King, Ohio, it's not Ohio on the Tinker, it's Ohio on the Weaver, and KYXY on the Tinker.
No Ohio Tinker, man. But I mean, Orange, like all the top Southeast Asian teams, really has multiple players who can handle the Tinker quite well, so no big surprises there. I don't think anyone has Zenith beat, though, with, what is it, 3 Invoker players and 3 Tinker players? Pretty insane.
Yeah, they have XY, X Freedom, and who else plays Tinker? I think, and 3 and Yamate, 3 Tinker players, you're right.
Yeah, and Ice was even training his in some pub games. Then when you look at Invoker, well, they have Yamate, they have XY, and they have Ice. So that's probably the most hard to predict team, but even Orange showing a little bit of versatility in their own right. And so LGD running what looks to be an aggressive tri-lane, potentially, with a Silencer, versus a Shadow Fiend, Sand King safe lane with a Shadow Demon in support. So what do you make of this tri-lane on tri-lane matchup? As Leshrac will get a haster, and so
I think LGD has a slight advantage over it because they have 2 600 range heroes as their supports, whereas Orange has a Sand King as their secondary support.
And middle lane, Orange has actually placed the Weaver here, so they're going to put Ohio 1v1 against the Darkseer. This means G can push the lane. He'll probably have the big farming advantages. It is a bit hard for Weaver to last hit under tower, but the Weaver should never die in this lane. That's for sure. Uh-oh.
And bottom lane,
top lane, action already breaking out. A haste and Misery. His haste turn's wearing off fairly soon. He'll take one last pot shot. He thinks about a stun, but he really needs to get out, and he will. And you were talking about bottom lane.
Yeah, I think Tinker will have a very good time at bottom. Their lanes, I think they kind of expected the Tinker to be middle. That's why they're putting the Darkseer in middle. But they switch up their lanes.
I mean, even though there's March of the Machines, Darkseer is tanky enough that if he gets double Ion Shell, you can kill Tinker at, say, level 3 or 5, depending on if the March is used properly.
And it's also a very good decision because as the Radiant side, the Darkseer can always farm the small camps. So Darkseer's Soulmate can get a lot out of the lanes and the jungles.
And he's top lane. This will be a first blood. They go on to Mushi. They pick him off. Extinct was there at the Burrow Strike, but it's a bit too late. Open wounds into Split Earth, into Last Word, I believe. And, well, Mushi just a little too far up in the lane. Net's the one doing the pulling. Generally, you would see the Shadow Demon actually the one in lane, because he can actually disrupt the Shadow Fiend. And why would you switch it?
Yeah, Sand King has low initiation range on the level 1 Burrow Strike. It's better for the Sand King to get the pull and the Shadow Demon to be in the lane like what you said.
Okay, so I guess you would just see that as a mistake, basically. They should just have the other one doing it.
It happens. Sometimes you just forget. Maybe because sometimes Nat is using the other hero that's supposed to be pulling, and they just mess up sometimes.
Yeah, it is net playing the 5 position for this team, even though it's a sand. Well, I mean, playing the Shadow Demon in this case. Oftentimes it's extinct on that sort of hero, the Rubik, things like that. But First Blood goes to LGD.int.
Yeah, sometimes it's Extreme playing it, so maybe what happened was they just forgot who is supposed to be pulling and who is supposed to be standing next to Mushi.
That's a big mistake to make, and we know that we thought that LGD.int would need a good start. They get that on the top lane. As far as the other 2 lanes go, Brax, pretty even actually with the Tinker. And mid lane going heavily in G's favor. So, all things considered, LGD.int should have a big lead, and indeed they do. Over 1,000 gold, over 600 experience. It's early, but the advantage is entirely theirs.
Yeah, there's only one lane they have to worry about that could change the tide of the mid game. It depends on how early KYXY will get his Boots of Travel, because he's going to have a fairly easy lane against the Bounty Hunter. Once he has his Boots of Travel, it's going to be very difficult for LGD to go aggressive on the top lane anymore.
You know, I was going to say I would love to see Orange basically do LG or IG style and just TP support early to that safe lane, surprise KYXY and go for a kill. Yeah. But if you do that, then Shadow Fiend starts getting farm and levels. Whereas in the game where that happened, I don't think there were 2 heroes that were quite as important.
I think it's a good idea, but they have to pick a very, very suitable timing to do it. So to minimize the farming time of the Shadow Fiend and at the same time punish the Tinker at the off lane.
I mean, maybe it's even, I don't know, when your lane is pushed into your towers so that the Shadow Fiend's not CSing during that time. Oh no. Solo kill. He's going laser rockets. He's not going March. And Brax, I believe, caught unawares.
Laser rocket is very good this game because he's able to destroy his lane even more. And when he starts assisting his teammates on the other lane with his early boost of travel, laser rocket this game is far better. They don't have to speed push that much because LGD doesn't have a heavy pushing lineup. So laser rockets would benefit his team more than the March of Machines.
Yeah, LGD.
It's a very good decision, I think.
They don't have that. They don't have that lone druid. They don't have that Luna. Their carry is a lifestealer who's a fantastic teamfight specialist, and a ganker, but not really a great pusher. And they bet one bounty hunter for their 3-position hero, that solo side lane, and he doesn't push, so it'll help him win the lane. And the top lane, they got an early kill. I feel like Orange can afford to give up a few kills this game and still be okay. The big thing is going to be holding on to the outer towers so that Bounty Hunter and Lifestealer can't just farm you all over the map. Ohio mid lane gets vacuumed back into an Ion Shell. He'll escape on 10 HP. The Tango regen saves him simultaneously top lane. I'm thinking we might see a dive here, but not for the moment. Oh man, Ohio, so lucky there. Just so lucky.
Yeah, Doxa is doing very well against the Weaver. If you look at the last 6 counter.
Yeah, it's hard for the Weaver because he's always under the tower, but dying is the one thing he just can't afford. As long as he doesn't die and he gets decent CS, I feel like that's his job this game. Like, yeah, it's impossible to win the lane when you're always under your tower.
Top lane.
The action on Mamushi. Mushi, open wounds will be applied, and then they just auto-attack him down, and he dies again. And Net was here, but he had already used his disruption, LGD.int, as soon as that disruption's on cooldown.
He disrupted the lifestealer because the 2 supports were like going on the Shadow Fiend, so it really didn't matter who he disrupted. Even if he disrupted the Shadow Fiend, they would just wait for him to come out and kill him.
Yeah. In the end, it's just a little too much. They're gonna go again. And there's your raise number 1. The burrow straight through. Misery will drive first, but Extinct, potentially trouble. He's got a Sandstorm. He'll hop inside it. The Sentry Ward deployed. They turn back around, looking for the kill, but they're going to give Mushi potentially another. He doesn't have range for the raise. He thinks about it too long. Then he misses. Now he goes back for Pycat. He will nail Pycat with a few. And now Pycat down to, oh, he's going to turn around with Phase Boots in a moment here. This could be the death of Mushi yet again, as we see the Edict damage onto Net. Maybe it'll be Net who takes the fall. Curse of the Silent. Down he'll go. A big turnaround, and now Mushi, if he gets hit by the Split Earth, he is so dead. Oh, Phase Boots, last word. They're going to bring him down. G has even joined the tri-lane. Mushi throws out a raise. Pycat will live, I believe. No, the last tower shot does it. And now Ohio has joined the fight. On to Misery. He'll teleport in. He gets a double. He turns that one around. Net coming in as well. If he can get a disruption, I don't think he will. They might. Oh, can Ohio find the body block? Can they find this burrow strike? The burrow, the disrupt is there. It's going to be a complete turnaround. Triple kill for Ohio. That was a total mess for Orange, but then Ohio TP's in and saves them from disaster. That looked really bad until he showed up.
Ohio came from behind. He didn't TP. He was from the river. He came from the river.
Shows up at the last. I mean, if he wasn't there, they get completely wiped for basically nothing. They got a support kill otherwise, but instead, A triple kill for their team, and
I
actually...
think they could have killed the Shadow Fiend a lot earlier outside, because what happened was Paikat, he was baiting that he took a south and he was turning around. And he had enough, he was going to have enough mana for open wounds, but he decided to use his rage to kill the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Demon actually basically had no mana to do anything at all. So I think if he had waited for that bit of mana and he saved his mana instead of using the rage, they would have killed the Shadow Fiend a lot earlier. And I don't think they would have paid the price, because the Weaver came at a timing where they were still diving the SF. If they killed the SF earlier, I don't think that would have happened.
And it shows you how good Weaver is going to be against LGD, and if they don't burst him down first. Bottom lane, they'll go in on KYXY. This is that crucial gank before those Boots of Travel come online. Paikat, I showed him a second ago, the cavalry's waiting there, but can they actually kill him? He'll actually bottle up. There's still a dive from Paikat. There's no laser. It looks like he will fall.
He's gonna die.
Yeah, he's dead. And they get track gold as well. But when that happens, Mushi maybe at least can get a raise or two off on the creeps. They put G in the top lane so that Mushi is going to have...
They're going to wrap around.
Oh, they're wrapping around now. 14:37. Disruption to start. There is nothing really on this Darkseer aside from a surge. He surges himself into the middle of the fight and then thinks about turning it around. Goes in on net knowing there's no Burrow Strike. G, what a man. He'll get the kill there, and then the Split Earth is going to miss. So Extinct looks to turn around again, but this could be another kill. Mushi's going to die here most likely to G. He'll throw it one raise, but it's not enough. There's no Burrow Strike. There's no Sandstorm or anything. Wouldn't even matter if he had it. Double kill. Will it be a triple? He's got a vacuum. He's got a vacuum. Oh no, there is a Sandstorm, but he can't hide inside it. It's a triple. First it's Ohio who shows up, gets the triple for his team. Now it's G getting a triple for his. And they shut down the Tinker. So Boots of Travel delayed. Shadow Fiend continues to die. LGD making some great adjustments of their own. What a back and forth game so far.
I think there was also a possibility that Sand King might survive if he used his stick. He had 3 stick charges there. If he used the stick in time, he would have been able to have mana for a Battle Shot. He might have lived there.
Yeah, I mean, could have gotten caught in the vacuum maybe, and ended up dying anyway. There would have been a surge at any rate.
Paikat is coming in from the side mid lane. He's gonna, if they get the pick off, he's gonna be very huge.
Oh man, and he doesn't have March, so you can dive him so much easier. Oh, they have someone close. There's a Sand King nearby.
Sand King.
They expect it.
Top lane as well. Brax is gonna get a kill on the Shadow Demon, I think.
Brax has an Ion Shell Bounty Hunter. This is the worst thing to play against as a support at this stage of the game, because you don't have money for sentries everywhere, and it hurts.
And they're rotating their Weaver bottom to push for orange, to split push out, and I think it's very important for them to have the Weaver down there, because they can't put the Tinker down there anymore, since he needs to farm in a safer place to get his Boots of Travel up. The only hero that can stand there is the Weaver right now.
They're actually just forfeiting their tier 1 top. They decided it's not safe there. They say, let's get the KYXY Boots of Travel. Let's do some jungling for our Shadow Fiend for Mushi. And we'll see a rotation coming in. A hasted Paikat lumbers into the lane, but KYXY does see him, splashes through the rockets. And even though he's not going March build, we should mention, rockets are pretty... Oh, bottom lane, dive onto G. Oh, he's dropping low. But this is a man fight. This looks like a mistake. There's your global silence in Ohio. Overextends. I think might have died anyway to Brax.
No, I don't think if they could have killed without the ultimate from the silencer, because he would have time lapse out there.
Well, he was... Yeah, I guess it would have been close. He was sitting under the tower.
Mid lane.
Mid lane. Extinct goes in, gets the Burrow Strike on Paikat. Will die. Just constantly, as soon as a kill happens, one lane for one team, a kill happens in the other lane.
So risky, LD. If
he rages?
Yeah, I thought he would have been going for the safer kill there. He was right in front of 1437.
You know, I wonder if the ping is a factor for something like that. I think maybe he gets it off if there's land ping or something like that, but that's just speculation. Paikat goes down in the end. And they got the kill in Ohio.
I think they're having a decent ping though, LD. They're not having that bad of a ping. Is it Singapore or?
It is Singapore. No, I'm just saying. I mean, if it's the lowest possible ping, maybe he gets it off. It was like right on the border where any pro should be able to, but just a tiny bit slow there.
Yeah, and Lifestealer is inside G.
Yeah, they're in the enemy jungle. They haven't really been farming, which suits their lineup, but you would like to see the Bounty Hunter joining them.
I think they have to do what they're doing now. If they don't apply pressure and Orange reaches the mid phase with items, it's gonna be very hard for them.
He walks right over Sentry Ward. Oh, it was pinged. It was spotted.
I saw him.
Wow, how unlucky is that? Walks directly over the Sentry Ward. Bottom
The sentry
lane.
was for Brax.
Bottom lane. Ohio gets caught. He track cooling down. He's already used his ultimate, but no stuns. You have your global once. You use it once, and that's it. Top lane. They did go in. The Burrow Strike is there. G, he's getting closer to his mech, but he'll be delayed now as he takes a bit of a spill there and a crucial death. Also, Tinker, Boots of Travel online, and now the tower dive's very, very risky. Sure, you're not diving into March, but you're still diving into Rocket.
Rocket and Laser, it's so painful for now for the Lashrock and even the Bounty Hunter can't tank it that much.
Even the Lifesteal, that's because Laser does pure damage. That's easily half his health. Laser Rocket.
Yeah, but at least he has some form of survivability with the Rage and the Ultimate. If you look at the Lashrock and Bounty Hunter and Silencer, they can't do anything.
I think this strategically, this is looking very good for Orange, in spite of the fact that they lost their tier 1 top. They have their Boots of Travel on KYXY, and LGD.int are just going to have to force a bunch of mistakes in a row, or Orange are just not going to... It's going to be too dangerous to dive them.
Yeah, and you look at the last hit counter, it's already telling you the story, how unsuccessful LGD.int were in the first 10 minutes, even though they got a lot of kills.
Pycat, he'll be disrupted, and then Soul Catchered up, the bugs are on him. Although, I guess the Disruption removing that, and then Pycat dropping quickly, the global thrown out. There's your Infest, and then the chase going the other way. Oh, Ohio must be careful. He'll time-lapse out, he'll run away, and they force a global and 4 heroes to the bottom lane. A huge victory for Orange, even though they don't get the kill mid lane.
Mid lane.
G trying to push in, but Extinct is going to be here. With a Burrow Strike, we need a double, maybe even a triple. Nope, never mind. Tinker. Tinker, Tinker, Tinker. They don't need a double raise. Easy kill.
You don't need raise.
Look at Mushi CS. He was completely shut down in the laning phase. He's now 71 and 10. They've been stacking and farming the jungle constantly. He's the lead farmer. And what is his score right now? 3 and 4. He has 4 deaths in 14 minutes, and he's the lead farmer. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, they stacked up a lot for him. It's just the power of Shadow Fiend. Raise, clear 1 stack. Raise, clear another stack.
I'm really impressed by Orange right now because, I mean, LGD.int, they did the things they had to do, right? Being aggressive, going for kills, but Orange, they've given up some sloppy kills. It hasn't been perfect play, but they're reacting quickly, they're anticipating, and they're not just letting LGD.int push them around. They're trying to create pressure of their own. We've seen Tinker teleport in for ganks early. We've seen the Invis Shadow Demon ganking the bottom lane, forcing out a global silence. Orange is not letting LGD.int just completely play their own style here.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is also because it came down to the lanings. They put the right solo lanes against the right heroes.
And at this point in the game, LGD.int, their lineup is really built around snowballing. Just finding track kills, chasing heroes down. Uh-oh, bottom lane. Weaver looking to get aggressive here. Will time-lapse out, and then goes back in on 1437. One more hit. Won't get it off, but he will get a tier 1. And he's level 11 now. Ohio is getting... All the core heroes are getting big. And these supports are looking squishier and squishier by the moment. Really for both teams, but... I mean, Sandcane and Shadow Demon have some good defensive abilities. Lashrak and Silencer do not. So I feel like the supports of LGD.int are really the ones in jeopardy.
Yeah, when the game goes longer, there's one thing LGD can count on. They have the better team fight composition. They have the wall and the global silence to fight with Orange. Orange has basically, most of it is split pushing abilities, where you can count the Reclaim of Souls and the Epicenter, but that's not as good as the wall and the global silence.
So, okay, what do you do now if you're LGD.int? What is your game plan?
They have to sit back and farm right now. They can't go any more aggressive. If they try to be more aggressive, they're just gonna kill themselves faster.
And can they take this? I mean, what's your timing window? Because I imagine you don't just want to keep on farming forever.
I think they can still fight it around the 30 to 40 minute one, providing how well they go with the fights, like with the wall and the global silence, how well they time the fights and the coordination of everything. And there's also one thing they have in their hands right now, the track goal. If they get more kills, they get the better trade-offs, it's gonna be more advantage for them to bring forward to the late game.
And they do have a Lifestealer. Lifestealer gets pretty fearsome if he's farmed enough. Unfortunately, he's only got a drums right now. Actually, Pycat...
I think he'll have a hard time hitting down anyone.
That's true.
The Tinker will have a dagger or even a Ghost Scepter up, and he can't stay on a Weaver. The only guy he can stay on is the Shadow Fiend.
There's Disruption and Burrow Strike, and also Mushi's just going tank mode. Net will get caught here, though. Surgeon onto Brax. Track to start. but he won't actually go in because, well, there's 4 heroes farming top. Good awareness and positioning from Orange, not taking any big risks. And Orange sees 4 top and says, fine, we'll push bottom and we're going to force you to back. And unfortunately, just not finding the openings right now, LGD.int. They're not really farming. They're trying to gank a lot, which is slowing them down.
That's why I said they should probably try and just be safe and start farming up before. If they keep trying to gank and they get counter gank or the gank fails, they're just gonna kill themselves faster. But probably they're thinking that if they don't get something happening, they'll have a hard time either way, so they'll just take a gamble.
Hello, Mushi. 3 heroes are here. There's your purge on the Pycat. The global thrown out. The stun
late.
will hit.
It was late. It was late.
Net will die here. Oh, he'll drop. They get the kill. It's only on the Shadow Demon.
I think it's still very good because Mushi didn't die and they blew the global silence. The global silence,
it was late.
Earlier before the purge on the lifesteal, they would have killed the Shadow Fiend.
They might have killed both, to be totally honest. Because the Split Earth hit there anyway.
Yeah, true.
So it could have been 2 kills, but definitely Shadow Fiend would have died there. As Sand King was nowhere in sight. Extinct wasn't there in time. And he's the only other hero who can bail out the Shadow Fiend. It's what we always talk about with this Silencer pick, Winterds. It's so different from other support heroes if you run him as a support, because if you mess up a global, the hero is pretty much well, not useless, but close to useless until the global comes off cooldown. He doesn't have a spammable stun of any kind. It's just a very risky support pick, and you have to be perfect. Unfortunately, not quite perfect there. And now they can't really do a whole lot for the next 2 minutes or so.
Oh, mid. And they're gonna get pushed in middle. Orange probably thinking they don't have global silence. It's time for us to apply pressure.
Wow, and they're the lineup that you'd think would just be playing defensively. There's a nice Split Earth catching out Mushi. He'll eat a last word, but what's he gonna do? Just walk away. We'll see some rocket spam coming in. KYXY just pushing everyone back, and simultaneously, Pycat is starting to farm a little bit. He's now back up to being the lead farmer in this game, but it's barely at that. Pretty close. He does see a Mushi, but he also sees some Mushi friends. Bottom lane being pushed in, and I imagine if you're RNG Sports, when Global's on cooldown, maybe you fight, but otherwise just have Weaver in one lane, Tinker in another, and Shadow Fiend probably with the 2 supports behind him in the third.
They don't have to force any towers, LD.
Net will get tracked and then disrupted by himself, but the backup is here. LGD, whenever they want to find a kill, it's always at this tower, and there's always backup coming.
Yeah, and Tinker is just, you don't waste 135 gold for backing up your teammates. It's just free for him. There's nothing lost for that.
And soon he'll have his dagger. And once he gets his dagger, good luck killing him. Misery blows the stun on creeps. Oh, Misery. That was not a good time to stun the creeps. Might have died anyway, but easy kill. No global there. Just cooling down now. And every death for LGD feels like 10, because they can't do anything without 5 heroes on the map. Even with 5, it's hard.
And it's not a good game for them to send the Lifestealer hiding in one of their heroes all the time, because at the moment, Lifestealer is just going to be their main DPS. Yeah, he needs to farm a lot.
When you do that sort of strategy, you want to be finding kills as well. And I mean, even if you're finding them, you're not farming during that time, like you're saying. So, and of course, if he doesn't find them, then he really falls behind. So it's a tough situation.
Yeah, Weaver's going to have his Mentor store up very soon, and it's going to be. But when he has his Manta, he can dispel the open wounds and
the global.
Yeah, and he can dispel the
track. That's such a good item this game.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I was thinking at the start that he would go for Lincoln's, because Lincoln's is also very good, but Manta is also the same, does the same job and provides more damage.
I think in some ways this is better because you can dispel all of them if you need to. The Lincolns will only block 1.
Yeah, but Lincoln's allows him to split push with
That's true.
with a safer mindset, because you know that if you get surprised, there's something to bail you out. The Manta, you have to click it before they use their spells on you.
Brax rotates in the bottom lane. He's scouting things out. He sees a Tinker lurking at the tower, I believe, but well, there's no going in on KYXY right now. He's up to 1800 gold. Blink Dagger coming pretty soon. I imagine that will be the pickup.
Yeah, and if you look at the map now, LGD are forced to split push everywhere because of the heroes of Orange are able to push up or top lane.
Burrow strike in. Once again, Pycat unable to rage here. It is nighttime. The global comes out, but the purge is here. Oh, they'll purge Pycat. He's got an infest. Brax comes in. Orange looking a little over-eager here. They will lose their Shadow Demon. Now they need to get the hell away. They have a BKB on Mushi. That must have been why they wanted to fight. Oh, maybe they can fight. He'll channel his Requiem. He'll cancel it. He'll walk in. Your infest is here, but Epicenter is going to bring Pycat low. Now the Requiem coming through. Mushi unwinds. Stands and delivers, but Pycat, what an incredible armlet toggle. Keeping him alive. Manning up. Killing off Mushi. Oh, he looked so dead. And now Ohio surrounded by a few. Not able to...
That was just boss play, LD.
What an armlet toggle. And now G, potentially in trouble. Ohio, can he clean up the mess created by the deaths of his teammates? He can get one. He'll get two in total, but he won't finish the job. G, laser on a creep. Oh no, a misclick, a crucial misclick from KYXY. And G escapes. And all things considered, that looked like a disaster for LGD.int, but Pycat turns it into a decent fight. They get some track gold, they trade some kills.
It also looked like Orange overextended when you mentioned they shouldn't be chasing because they just, LGD blew the ultimate to save, the silence to save Pycat, and they should have just backed out. That's what you mentioned at the start. But everything panned out alright after all.
That was such an incredible armlet toggle. If he was just slightly off there, he just dies. Instead, he lives and kills Mushi. And Mushi, the reason Orange were getting aggressive, he's got his BKB. That's a tough item for LGD.int. Sure, Lifestealer and Bounty Hunter could still kind of man up on him, but he does so much damage to the supports.
Yeah, and in that fight, you could see how weak Silencer is as a hero after he doesn't have his ultimate, and when he's played as a support, he just doesn't deal in a lot of damage in the fights.
Yeah, and you compare it to what someone like a Shadow Demon offers, where he's purging your... Yeah,
it was actually very, very, very good play by the Sand King. He was tried, but he tried to channel his epi, and Brax tried to stop the epi, but the epi still went off, and he got stunned, and he died from there instantly there.
And he almost got the kill on Pycat because he epied in, he burrow strikes Brax, and then Brax dies with Pycat inside of him while Rage is cooling down. So it was almost enough to get the kill, but not quite enough in the end. And he's close to his blink now.
It was also quite risky because what if he was channeling there and LGD decide to back off, and it would be might have been a different fight all around.
I feel like they're okay if LGD.int blacks off, because at the end of the day, they forced them to blow the global, they only lost their Shadow Demon, and then they just go back to farming.
Yeah, you're right. It's alright if it pans out that way, but all in all, I think it's still very, very good position for Orange right now to be in.
Yeah, I mean, LGD got an okay trade there in what looked like a bad fight, but they need more than okay trades at this point in the game.
Yeah, they need to be killing more heroes than just getting an even trade of 3 for 3.
How do you kill those heroes? Boy, you would love that G Storm right now, wouldn't you? When you see Tinker just hiding in the trees, being a total asshole. Counter pushing like a boss.
Oh, you need Timber Saw, man. Kill all the trees, get the Tinker.
Oh, I would love to see a Timber Saw as well. I would not complain. Maybe next game. But right now, Orange also holding on to most of their outer towers. Only lost 2 so far. And for LGD, I'm sort of wondering what the plan is over the next 10 minutes. If they have any sort of pocket strategy, maybe it's something... Well, they've gone for the standard build on the Darkseer, the necessary build, I suppose.
I think they need to farm the Silencer.
Get a... what, like a Force Staff?
No, he needs a Hex. From the Darkseer and the Silencer, they need 2 Hexes from these 2 heroes. I think it's time for the... There's one way they could do this, it's time for the Bounty Hunter to step away from the lane and give more farm to the Silencer.
Well, he's almost got his BKB, so maybe you wait for that and then do it. Or would you just do it now anyway?
He's so near. I don't mind giving him... If I'm the captain, it's alright for the Bounty Hunter to complete his BKB. It's very useful against the spell damage that Orange has. And after his BKB is completed, then give more space for the Silencer. So
what you would basically be saying if you're the captain for LGD.int right now is get your BKB, then get the hell out of my lane.
Yeah, it's very important to distribute the farm.
Bottom lane, Pycat will get caught by the burrow, but simultaneously there's a disruption and the Soul Catcher also misses. Pycat will rage, hit illusions for a few seconds, and he's still auto-attacking on my screen, but he's actually running away simultaneously. Middle lane, they'll look to go in on Mushi, but remember, he's got his BKB. The track will hit Ohio. He's already used Manta. They won't dive this. Wisely they won't, because they need Pycat to fight Mushi. They need that. They need that Lifestealer to take down the Shadow
They
Fiend.
need the armlet toggle.
Yeah, they need that boss play. Pycat, that was so weird. He TP's out, but his hero was still hitting the illusions. I was confused. I was like, did Pycat cancel his TP? Please tell me he didn't. But yeah, just a visual bug, it looks like.
Dota 2 trolling you, LD.
Yeah, making me look even worse than I normally do. Bottom lane, Mushi, he might be in a little bit of trouble, but he'll pop a drum charge. Now, the rage can wear out. There is an infest available for Pycat. Mushi will go inside the trees. He'll look for a TP out. Pycat can hit him, but it won't be enough. Didn't even have to blow the BKB charge there. Just a drum charge, the only cost. And once he gets Manta, it gets hard for Leicester to actually stay on him. Then it will be 3 heroes that you can't really kill. 3 carries.
And what do you do when that happens? You have to get a lot of hacks.
They really do need a Hex. I mean, maybe an Abyssal Blade, but Lifestealer isn't farming that soon.
I don't think they need a Hex. They need more than 1 Hex, to be honest.
Well, maybe an Abyssal Blade and a Hex. Maybe that's the compromise.
Top lane, they're gonna find Mushi there. I wonder if they're gonna push bottom lane because they know the SF is at top.
He's got a TP. It looks to be off cooldown. And we'll see the smoke gank. In the bottom lane, from behind they'll come.
I think it's still at cooldown because he just TP'd away from the bottom fight.
Just a visual bug.
Yeah, I can't tell whether it's cooldown or not.
March is being spammed now. Can they find KYXY? They can vacuum the trees if he blinks north. They may be able to pick him off. G is waiting. He'll actually vacuum right, but KYXY has blinked just a little bit to the right instead of north. I think G was predicting he would blink back, which is what you usually do as the Tinker. Smart anticipation, but KYXY does the unexpected. They still get the tier 1 at the end of the day. And now Brax driving Mushi back top lane. But I think overall, decent for LGD.int.
Yeah, it's all right, and when it's gonna be difficult if Orange farms another 10 minutes and they get, I don't know if the Weaver will go for something like a Lincoln Radiance as his damage item, or he will go for MKV. But either way, if he gets more damage, it's gonna be very hard for the Lifestealer because when he goes and aims the Seraphine, the Weaver will just be hitting him so hard.
Yeah, and the Swarm really it helps you a lot in terms of just braining a hero like Lifestealer down in the mid game. Because
Lifestealer doesn't have good armor against the Swarm.
And there's also presence of the Dark Lord. So while these 2 heroes are alive, we're looking at a crap load of minus armor potentially over the course of the fight. And it's not just the Lifestealer. He's the tanky one. It's also those backline heroes that you have to be very worried about. They are going for Hex though.
They're just gonna die in few hits to the SF with the armor reduction, the Lash and the Silencer.
Well, you wanted a Sight the Vice. It won't be on the Silencer. It will be on Misery. Or not Sight the Vice. Ultimate Orb picked up. So he's headed that direction. Granted, he's got a way to go.
It's alright even if they give the Lash out the farm. Either one of them has to come up with the item.
We give you farm, you give us Sight the Vice, and you use it to good purpose. We'll see if they can do it. Manta Style is available top lane. They're saving it for the moment. Mushi being dove. He'll get bashed by Pycat. Oh boy, this could be bad. Where's that secondary bash? He won't get it. He actually infests inside. BKB was forced out. That's a pretty big, well, a decent win. Top lane, while that was happening, solo kill for Ohio.
We give you farm, but you can't die.
Well, he does. That's going to delay the Sight the Vice. There's a blink up on Extinct. He's channeling. He blinks in. He's going to nail Brax. He didn't have mana for a burrow, but then he pops his wand, and he gets 2, which was the better result anyway. They won't find the second kill. Almost, though. They almost found it. And they lose a tier 1 in exchange for a Shadow Fiend BKB charge and 2 kills on the side of LGD.int.
I think he's dead. He's dead.
No Burrow Strike right now. Vacuums 3 into the wall, but Mushi, a hero who doesn't mind being vacuumed and Extinct, as well as Net. They almost go down, but they both live. 9 HP on Net, and then barely more on Extinct, sitting at about 130 after his next wand pop. That's 4 deaths for LGD.int, is it not? Leshrac just died. Oh, Bounty Hunter lived, so 3 deaths, but they also lost the tier 1.
He basically had no way to run because Shell Demon has Purge and Disruption. There's no way. G did the right thing to fight back and just hope for a kill. There's nothing much he can do from that situation, and he was unlucky to get 2 heroes on like what 9 HP or something like that.
A very late Shadow Blade from Mushi. I mean, I guess it's why won't you just go Manta? I guess is my question.
Why would you get Shadow Blade against Bounty Hunter?
It's a great pressure item, but there's gonna be. I mean, you already have a Weaver, so they're gonna have detection.
It's 30 minutes in. It's not like you get it like at the 40-minute mark. Or
Maybe he's gonna prove us wrong. There's your burrow strike to start on Pycat.
He's not hitting.
He's waiting. He's saying, Extinct, you're gonna tank this. The global is thrown out. The bash on Mushi. Not in time. Pycat had it infest. Brex was trying to give him the way out, but he can't get it rid. Now a blink in from Extinct. He burrows through on a BKB Brex, which does absolutely nothing. But Mushi chewing into the back lines. The buyback from Pycat that you mentioned coming, but will he get here in time to do something? While that's happening, remember, BKB's on cooldown for Mushi. Ohio drives them all back. Pycat buys back. Seems like it won't accomplish anything. And they lose their silencer. The global was used as well. Another victory for Orange.
Big victory. Their only carry hero buys back and achieves nothing.
And they need that Abyssal Blade. They need that Sight Device. The two heroes are going to build those items. That's deaths for them. That's a buyback for them.
Ohio is going to build a Monkey King bar so that there's a chance for them to kill the lifestealer even if he BKB TPs.
I mean, what we talked about in the very beginning of the draft, Winter, was even with the first 3 picks for both teams, Orange was a team that just needed to have a decent start and hang on. LGD.int drafted a lineup that needed to have a very powerful start and snowball. And they just haven't quite found that snowball.
Bottom lane.
Pycat, he'll be Blink Burrow Strike, now Requiem. No Rage Pop for you, no Infest for you. That's 2 deaths and a buyback in a matter of 2 minutes or so. And now they go Roche. This is looking worse and worse for LGD.int.
I think their window is gonna be shut soon with this Roshan kill.
Yeah, Mushi is looking to slam the door and the window. Ohio's gonna kick in the back door. And they're looking to break LGD.int's base soon. They may not even wait that much longer to go. Because really, look at their items.
Even if they wanted to wait, so what? They can just wait and farm more items to be much more safer.
And now Mushi, I assume he'll go back for the Manta style. At which point, Shadow Fiend is basically running around hasted in these fights, along with your Weaver, who really is pretty much hasted all moments during the fight. And they're going to have the KYXY Sight Device. Those items and a Blink Dagger on the Sand Cane, what else do you need? I mean, you can farm. You can get 2 damage items in your Shadow Fiend.
You still need Divine Rapiers, man. That's why you need to farm.
Yeah, KYXY needs a Divine Rapier. We need to see a Tinker with a Divine, just because they'll never see it coming.
The Hex is on Orange instead of LGD now. It's even going to be so hard for them.
They're really... Doesn't it feel like this is just becoming the Southeast Asian way again? For a while, Orange was running that 5-man style, right? With the Darkseer, the Luna, the Chen, the pushing. But they're right back to playing... I mean, more of what you guys were doing at the International, too, with multiple carries, split pushing, farming a lot. And then what we're also seeing is a lot of Tinker play. And it feels like that's just the perfect hero for this kind of style.
Yeah, Tinker just makes any 5-man lineup redundant with the March.
Yes, it puts them out of business in a hurry. A big smoke gank from LGD.int. Remember, they're feeling desperate now. They will find Net. They'll find that Shadow Demon. No way out for him. Just absolutely no way. But all things considered, it's only a Shadow Demon.
And at least they're getting track goals on 5 heroes.
That's very true. The gold will be great, but they're not stopping Weaver from pushing. They're not stopping... actually, they may get a tier 2 off of this. So yeah, I mean, not a bad kill. Actually, what an aggressive TP into the tower by KYXY.
Oh,
didn't shift Q his blink, or was late at least on doing so. He'll die! Oh, man, you almost never see that in a professional game. That just doesn't happen. You always have that blink shift queued, but I guess it wasn't. That's a pretty big death. He doesn't have buyback.
It's very big.
Oh, and they might even find more. No, they won't. Extinct will stall them out. Mushi comes in. He's just gonna man up here. He'll get that sound so he gets bashed. Remember, he does have Aegis of the Immortal. They're chasing him. They need another bash. Requiem channeled on the high ground. The burrow strike in. A turnaround. A masterful bait by Mushi. They take that bait. LGD, and they get the tier 2, but now they're forced back as also on the bottom lane. And MKB Weaver is chewing through the creep wave. He's going to be working on the tower. TP comes from Brax. It's a Lifestealer bomb. But Ohio will actually time-lapse and then mans up, not realizing the Lifestealer's there perhaps. He may pay for this with his life. He's got a regen rune. If he gets bashed, he will get bashed. He will go down. A crucial kill. And I guess LGD comes out ahead there. Multiple track kills. They kill the Weaver. They kill the Tinker. A kill that shouldn't have happened, but they get the kills.
I think it's still alright. Unless the Darkseer didn't overextend it, then it would have been a lot better trade. But you're chasing up a high ground against a Shadow Fiend that has Aegis. That's very, very dangerous. That's very dangerous.
I mean, I think it was fine to chase up until that last auto attack that Pycat got. And when he didn't get the bash, they just needed to run.
If he got lucky, then it was alright. but he didn't get the bash, and it's time for them to back off. But G, so he's always that aggressive player, and sometimes he pays for his aggressive play.
It's unfortunate, and that Darkseer, he needs to be farming a Scythe device as well. Maybe a Shiva's, but I really think it's got to be a Scythe.
No,
Because
it has to be a Scythe. He has an ultimate op.
I hope we won't see the Egg Scepter build.
No, he's going Scythe. I'm 100% positive.
It's a long way off, though, with that death. And Mushi's still sitting on the Aegis.
Yeah, Lesha almost has his.
That's big. This could be the window for LGD.int, especially if we see a sloppy death like what KYXY gave up earlier. I'm not sure if maybe he lagged there, or just a misstep
it's
with
just
the keys.
Yeah, the keys. It's just the keys.
Yeah, just pressing the wrong key at the wrong moment. Amazing how everything could just hang on that, on the press of a finger.
Yeah, today he lasers a rocket. Yesterday, ROTK ultis a creep with his. He lasers a creep just now, and yesterday ROTK lassos a creep.
That's very true. Man, that was a depressing lasso. I felt so bad for ROTK.
Yeah, it wasn't also exactly that the guy was standing right next to the creep. It was just misclicks.
It was maybe he's just one of those things. There's no explaining it. If someone asks you as a player, especially a pro, you'll just be like, I don't know, man.
You just answer. No, you just answer. It's ROTK.
Well, now you're the one flaming. Track onto Ohio. They'll look to push in this bottom lane. Orange, they still have the Aegis on Mushi. At the end of the day, that's the big thing. Watch for KYXY to stand very far back in these fights, spamming rockets.
Aegis is ending soon.
That's why they're going in now. The Blake Burrow catches out G. The Scythe is there. The Global was too late. He will buy back. The Split Earth comes through. The Scythe from the Leshrac was already used, though. And they blew a Global. They blew a buyback. And Arch says, we got what we came for. We'll go back to farming now.
Yeah, there's no real reason for them to keep pushing as the Aegis is going to expire. They can just sit back and farm, continue farming, and wait for the next Roche.
They're really chasing here. They're desperate to get a kill with that buyback. There's a Blink as well as Burst Strike on Extinct. He's not using either yet. Normally you just use these as soon as they're on cooldown to get farther away, but they might want to go back in. Track has worn off now. Track has worn off. They have some vision here.
Weaver still has Track. Just worn off.
Okay.
Oh no. Someone is gonna get caught, I think. Oh no, they smoke that.
They smoke it. It's immediately dispelled by Net. Throws in the Shadow Poison and gets in range to remove the smoke. So sees it. Blake and Burrow Strike by Extinct, but he gets hacked. He's their only big stun. There's your vacuum. There's your wall. The Requiem does almost nothing, really, to be honest, but the auto attack's doing a lot. Mushi chewing through the back lines of LGD and even the front lines in jeopardy as the Darkseer falls. The wall is down. There's no buyback on G. And do Orange look to push the base, or do they just go for tier 2s? Mushi says, let's play it safe, guys. We don't have Aegis. Let's just be content with what we came for and back off.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good for them to do that right now. They don't have mana on a few of their heroes, and they can just go back and farm and wait for the next Roshan. There's no hurry for them to push.
It really shows you what a great comeback hero Shadow Fiend is this game. This was a Shadow Fiend who died 4 times in the first 14 minutes. I think it was even in the first 12. And he's our lead farmer by a lot.
It's around the 10 minutes or so, something like that.
And they aggressive tri-laned against him. They were killing him repeatedly. He gave up the first blood as well. A lot of people talk about Shadow Fiend and how he needs a good start, but if Shadow Fiend's team can create space, he is a great comeback hero, and we're seeing it this game.
I think if they didn't put the lanes right, it would have been difficult for the Shadow Fiend to come back, because the Tinker has his early boots of trial, because he has the easier lane against the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter can't do anything, and because of his decision making on to max the laser and rocket, put a lot of pressure on the Bounty Hunter so that the Tinker is able to own his lane, get his boots of travel out early, control the game, and create space for the Shadow Fiend to farm.
I mean, going back to what you were saying, you really thought, and LGD.int thought, that they would get that Darkseer versus Shadow Fiend matchup mid, but it just didn't come.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was. It's going to be a Darkseer versus Tinker. Okay. Darkseer will be able to do pretty well against Tinker.
We'll see a TP into the bottom lane by KYXY. Blinks into the trees, just backing up Mushi a bit as Mushi goes for the push. And Mushi's getting close to that you can't kill me and you can't do anything about me in the fight status, where once you get your next item with Shadow Fiend, you have BKB Manta, and then just some other utility items. You get the Butterfly here, the MKB. He just kills everyone, man. I mean, he just does too much damage at that point. Unless they can bash him, hex him, and kill him instantly.
I just feel that there's it's so unnecessary to get the Shadow Blade.
I really was questioning as well as soon as it
If
came
he has
out.
his butterfly now and
Which he would,
another
and
item,
then some.
Yeah. How can they kill him?
Or
If
he
imagine
could.
imagine he has a butterfly and a helm of Dominator now. What can they do to the Shadow Fiend?
I mean, he could even have an MKB and evasion if he wanted, and a Mask of Death, I think, on top of it. He's about at that level of farm where
Yeah.
he'd be very hard to kill.
I just don't understand why he got a Shadow Blade.
It is working, so I mean, no, I don't think the Shadow Blade is the reason.
They could have gotten the kills even without the Shadow Blade.
Well, LGD.int just fishing for that opening. They will have their Abyssal Blade soon on Pycat. They've picked up a gem. But even having a gem at this point, I mean, how much does it really do? The lanes are always pushed in against you. So even if they don't have wards, Orange still have decent map control because they still see well where the lanes are. And when their lanes are pushed into the bottom lane and they're to the river, or not to the river, but close to where the tier 2 is, close to the base, you don't see anyone there, you pretty much know that LGD is in your jungle.
Top lane. They're gonna try to kill the Tinker.
Can they do it? Can they do it? He's got to blink now. He'll blink away. Whack-a-mole. One will fail. There's no vacuum here. He'll get out. It's very hard to kill a Tinker like that. I mean, if you have certain heroes like Storm, you could easily do it. A Nightstalk with an Aghanims, it's not that difficult. But this lineup, it's pretty much got to be a vacuum to get the kill. To pull them out of the trees.
It's very difficult for them. They have to get so many heroes there to kill him. It's not even worth it to do it. And Roshan is up.
And Ultimate Orb now picked up on Ohio. What is he going for? Is this a Lincoln's?
Yeah, could be a Lincoln because of the Hex.
So now he's gonna have a Lincoln's and a Mantis. So Global won't affect him, Hex shouldn't affect him, Abyssal shouldn't affect him. I think Mushi is just gonna get a lot of hate in this upcoming fight, because you're just not gonna kill Ohio unless he really screws up.
I'm wondering if he would just buy the full butterfly now or get some. I don't know what he's gonna do with his gold.
I mean, if you want to buy the butterfly, you could sell your drums. You should have right about 6,300 to buy it. Oh wait, drums actually is worth less when you run out of charges, so maybe not. I believe it is, right? It sells for less once you use the charges. I think so.
I think so. I'm not very sure. It's not every day I sell my drums.
It's such a good item. Yeah, you normally don't even sell it until really late game, but the Heaven Invis, Shadow Blade, and Shadow Fiend, there's no sentries in the lane. Blink it, Burrow catches 2. This could be big trouble. Vacuum, Requiem, but there's actually no damage because it's an MKB Bounty Hunter to start, and Ohio's dropping pretty low. Can they bring him down? He'll time-lapse out the turnaround. Look at Mushi. He doesn't even have his full complement of damage items out. He's still chewing through them. Oh boy, the Rocket gonna finish the job. G will take a fall. And now the Shadow Fiend, he just goes down, but the damage is done. There's no more wall. Pycat's thinking about going back in. He doesn't actually have his Abyssal yet. He's going back for Plate Mill. Get the bash. They need some more. They'll disrupt him. Brax drops. Bash on Ohio. Needs more bashes. Needs a hell of a lot more bashes. Will not get them. And now Ohio shows up. KYXY, that is, on the Tinker. And Ohio in tow. They're going to blink. They're going to hex. And they're going to kill. And it's a team wipe for Orange. And unless there's 5 buybacks, which there isn't because one hero already bought back, this looks to be the end for LGD in game number 1.
Yeah, it's definitely the end. He's just gonna try and kill, and he fails, and he's gonna type out GG and leave.
Wow. Orange Esports. I mean, look at this tri-core lineup. You would look at this draft and say it's greedy, but the way they selected it, it really was smart. The way they laid it was quite smart.
It is very greedy. I have to agree with you.
It's greedy, but I feel like it was intelligent greed this game because they laid it pretty slickly, where they made sure their Tinker got early boots of travel.
They picked the Shadow Fiend right after they knew LGD couldn't run a very strong aggressive trying because of the silencer.
I agree. I feel like the silencer and the bounty hunter, getting these 2 heroes, it just doesn't help you 5v5 very much. And I mean, maybe the bounty hunter is fine if you have, like, say, a Leshrac and a Shadow Demon, but a Leshrac and a silencer. I mean, what do you do in the mid game? Sure, you can find some kills in the laning stage, just bursting a Shadow Fiend down. But they really lacked that extra disable. They really lacked that reliable utility support. And we also saw Orange just baiting out the global silence, doing a great job of forcing it out. And then they would be aggressive when it's down. They'd play more passively when it's up. Orange really exposing the weaknesses, I feel, of that support silencer this game.
Yeah, and also the laning decision was very good by them.
So Orange Esports has been, I don't know if I'd call them the kryptonite of LGD, but a team that LGD has struggled with more than most in the Asian scene as far as the top teams go. The last time these 2 teams faced off in the GEST Challenge, Orange 3-0'd them, en route to a Grand Finals victory in the GST Challenge. And, well, they're looking pretty decent here, Winter. Off to a good start.
Yeah, it was very, very good play by them in the first game.
Can LGD.int take a game off of Orange? Can they take a series? We'll find out coming up soon, guys. But before that, we'll have a quick break. This was Game 1 of LGD.int versus Orange Esports. The crucial Game 2 coming up next. If LGD.int lose it, their destiny, I believe, is out of their hands, as they will drop 1 and 2 in the group and can only pray to win a tiebreak to avoid elimination. As for Orange, they need to finish the job. A win here puts them at 2 and 1 in the group, and they will be moving on into the playoffs and possibly even securing a first-place seed in Group A. I'm LD. He's Winter. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/LDDota, twitter.com/WinterDota, and most importantly, stay tuned, because Game 2 of LGD.int versus Orange is coming up right after this.